Somewhere in the Persian Gulf, 100 kilometers off the coast of Abu Dhabi, sits a small island that most of the world has never heard of. No tourists, no beaches, no hotels, just pipelines, processing plants, and a few thousand workers keeping one of the world's most important energy operations running around the clock. This is Das Island, and if it ever stopped working, the consequences would ripple across the entire global economy. Today, we're explaining exactly how this place works, why it matters, and what would happen if it ever went dark. Das Island is one of ADNOC's, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company's, most strategic assets. It sits in the middle of Abu Dhabi's offshore oil and gas fields and serves as the central processing and export hub for crude oil and liquefied natural gas, or LNG. Everything produced from the massive offshore fields Upper Zakum, Shaif, Nasser, passes through Das Island before it reaches the tankers that carry it to refineries in Japan, South Korea, China, and Europe. Think of it less like an island and more like the world's most expensive sorting facility, except instead of packages, it handles millions of barrels of oil per day. Here's what most people don't understand about Kuwait's offshore oil production. Oil doesn't come out of the ground ready to use, it comes out as a mixture. Crude oil, water, gas, and impurities, all tangled together. Before any of it can be loaded onto a tanker, it needs to be separated, cleaned, and processed. That's exactly what Das Island does. The crude oil is stabilized, meaning the volatile gases are removed to make it safe for tanker transport. The natural gas is cooled to minus 162 degrees Celsius, shrinking it to 1/600th of its original volume, turning it into LNG, liquid natural gas. This allows enormous amounts of energy to be shipped efficiently across the world. Every step of this process involves hundreds of kilometers of pipelines, dozens of processing trains, and an army of engineers and technicians working in rotating shifts. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There's no such thing as a day off on Das Island. You might be wondering, why should I care about a tiny island in the Middle East? Here's why. Japan imports over 90% of its energy. South Korea imports over 80%. Germany has been scrambling for LNG supply since 2022. Every one of these countries depends on stable, reliable LNG flows from the Persian Gulf. Das Island and the fields it services account for a significant portion of Abu Dhabi's production. And Abu Dhabi is one of the top 10 oil producers in the world. If this island were to experience a major disruption, a natural disaster, a technical failure, or a geopolitical conflict, the price of oil and gas would spike globally within days. We saw a version of this in 2019 when drone attacks on Saudi Aramco's Abqaiq facility took 5% of global oil supply offline temporarily. The market reacted immediately. Das Island is equally critical and equally vulnerable to the pressures of running massive industrial infrastructure in the middle of the sea. Behind all of this machinery and infrastructure are thousands of people. Workers from over 30 countries rotate in and out of Das Island on schedules that might see them working for 28 days straight before flying home on a helicopter. Engineers, project managers, welders, divers, safety officers, a complete city of expertise packed onto a few square kilometers of reclaimed land. The project controls teams, the people who manage budgets, schedules, and progress, coordinate some of the most complex industrial operations on Earth. When ADNOC invests in expanding the island's capacity, as it regularly does, those projects can run into billions of dollars and take years to complete. Managing that complexity, making sure every bolt, every pipe, every system is delivered on time and on budget, that is the invisible work that keeps the world energy flowing. Das Island is one of dozens of invisible infrastructure hubs that quietly power the modern world. Most people will never visit it, Most will never even know it exists. But the next time you fill your car with petrol, heat your home, or board a plane, there's a good chance some of that energy passed through a place exactly like this. If you found this interesting, subscribe, because we're going to keep exploring the hidden infrastructure that keeps the world running. Next week, how offshore oil rigs survive hurricanes and what happens when they don't. See you then.